Back like we never left. Arsenal winning once again. Arsenal 4-1 at home to Leeds. Guys, I've missed you. Let's get into it. Come on. Wagwan, everyone. I hope you're doing well and welcome back to Tereak Talks. Another one. Arsenal winning once again. I'm tired of it now. I'm tired. Top of the league, winning again. You know how it gets. But now, people, joking aside, this is a great feeling. You cannot get tired of it if you're an Arsenal fan, especially when you see the results up and down the league yesterday. We're looking at some of our biggest rivals throughout our history, losing at home, away from home, dropping points, getting smashed. Yo, it's great. We used to be there. We know exactly how they feel, but we're not feeling like that anymore. And especially after Arsenal's big victory in a game which was leading up to it, was confident. Yes, because I'm confident of these guys and the boys and how we have performed this season and the consistency that they have shown. But this is one of those matches, as the Arsenal Vision like to call it, a trap game. And it's one of those that you know that you fall into that false sense of security. It's easy. You overlook the game as fans. You enter it like, yep, should be wrapped up. We're all focusing on Liverpool next weekend, as that's the big one. That's the one that we're all looking forward to, and we're all looking to see as the acid test of where this title race and where this current Arsenal side at its youth, but yet brilliance and quality, it's going to be a real test going there to Anfield. And it was one of those games that you can overlook at times and where you can drop points. A la Manchester City away at Forest straight after they beat us. They lost their grip on the top position in the league by dropping points, by being lackadaisical in those moments against a side that are down there fighting for their lives, who have had a nice bit of resurgence since Javi Gracia has taken over from Jesse March, who have quality going forward, which we saw in the first game at Ellen Road. So it was one of those games which, you know, you can't take lightly if you're the players, and you can't be looking past it as we kind of did against Sporting Lisbon. But Arsenal didn't do so, and they were amazing towards, you know, looking at the end of the game and given the context that it was straight after an international break. I thought the first 45 minutes were, as a team, we weren't at our brilliant best. We were to be honest, we were far off of our brilliant best that we've shown this season. But we ended that first half still in the lead. But before we get into the depths of talking about all of this game, I need to big up each and every one of you that is here watching live right now, and really appreciate you all. We got plenty of fans. We've got gooners, we've got non-gooners, we've got, you know, people that aren't even football fans that are just here to support me in here as well. And I really appreciate you all. Big up one of those gooners in Shay. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Want a big shout out to my brother Wilf in here as well. He's got his man of the match, which I've starred right here, and I definitely will be talking about that. Big up my brother Brush. Mama G's in here as well. It's good to thank you, my Mama G, and listen to Brush right there as well. Like, share, and subscribe, my people. Edmin has put his man of the match, and big up my bro Edmin. He says Xhaka because I was always right about him. Hey, we was you in particular, and I came around to him later than you, but earlier than most. And yeah, we'll definitely talk about him as well. Wesbird's in the building. Hope you're keeping good. We've got Mr. and Mrs. Wesbird in the place. This is what we love to see. And big up to each and every one of you that is watching right now. Get your comments in. Love to hear your thoughts on the game and questions that we can discuss and debate with ourselves here watching live. But before we get into it, smash that like button to support your boy and to support each and every one of you as well, so we can get more loving and cherished TTF members in the place. So let's go into it. I spoke about that first half. Arsenal weren't at our brilliant best. We started slowly, from the very first minute, where Leeds got a shot on goal, and Rasmus Christensen, who did score their goal, got the first shot in that opening minute and straight from kickoff, and testing Aaron Ramsdale. And it was one of those. We've seen this already this season at home to Bournemouth when Philip Billing took the lead within the opening 13 seconds, I believe. He scored, and we were sorry, is that breaking news? Big up my brother Paxton. Is that breaking news indeed? Sorry, but yeah, sorry, I just lost my head a little bit there. We'll definitely talk about this at some point as well. But back to the Arsenal. So yeah, Philip Billing, and we saw that in the Bournemouth game, but Arsenal were alert to it this time, and Aaron Ramsdale was there to make the save. But throughout, I thought Arsenal was slowly building up into it, getting the ball moving. 3 players in particular, I didn't think they were quite on it in those opening minutes, which was Erdegaard, our captain, our sensation, one of our, a contender, and one of the favourites for Arsenal to be player of the season. Manager, you see, you guys are throwing me off right now. But yeah, one of the contenders for player of the season. And then Zinchenko, another one of the signings. I didn't think he was quite on it. He was playing passes that he was trying to force it a little bit too much. We looked a little bit rusty. And Trossard out on that right. They weren't quite at their brilliant best in that first 45. And those are the 3 players that I was looking at in particular. But Arsenal were able to take the lead through my man of the match and someone who we have sorely missed. And it's not even just because of his goals, just because of what he brings, that X factor in Gabriel Jesus. And he was essential to us taking the lead and breaking the deadlock by winning that penalty. Guys, I want to ask you the question. Do you think that was a penalty? Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Initially, when I first saw it, I thought it was soft. I would not want to be seeing those penalties given against us when I initially saw it. But after watching it a few times, Gabriel Jesus actually gets caught by Rasmus Christensen when he goes for the fake shot or the fake cross, when he does him with the little Cruyff turn in the box. But he decides to stay on his feet. He could have went down from that, and that would look more like a penalty. It would look more convincing than the actual one where he sat down Luke Ayling. But he did get caught in the knee with Luke Ayling's wandering leg. It was stupid. He didn't need to do it. It was a moment of panic from Luke Ayling. That's why he has put his leg in there. It is soft, yeah, but it's a penalty. And I'm happy to see that Gabriel Jesus took the contact, went down, and the referee gave it. The referee saw it. And I'm taking it. It's one of those ones, if it's against you, you're not too happy, but you're also looking at Luke Ayling, if that's your defender, and saying, why have you put your leg there? Why have you given the referee a decision to make? And look at it, Arsenal. We have been robbed of a few stonewall penalties this season. So, yeah, it's nice to see that we got that one, but it was a moment of brilliance from Gabriel Jesus. A ball from Partey that set him free initially, and Gabriel Jesus lost it. But Arsenal's counter press, and you've heard me speak about that on this channel so often, in how we regain possession in those moments, those 7 seconds that Pep Guardiola used to say at Barcelona, and that was his philosophy. And that was amazing how we always do it. Our counter pressing yesterday was phenomenal. That was something I noticed even in the first half when we weren't at our brilliant best in possession. But our counter press as a unit, everyone knows where they've got to be. The understanding, the intelligence of when and what spaces and areas to cover is a work of art, and it's definitely something that has to be drilled into these players. You don't just pick this up. It's not just from improvisation or players just knowing where to be. I think there's an element of that, but there's also an element from the players that they are willing to work hard for this manager and keep working. And Gabriel Jesus epitomizes that from the very front. Martin Odegaard, once again, I said he wasn't the greatest in possession, but he was brilliant in the counter press, winning the ball back. And it'd be interesting to see, and I'll try and do some research for tomorrow's Arsenal show onto that, to see how many times we regain possession when we turn it over, when we may lose it or when Leeds pick it up, how many times that we we are able to pounce on them and give them no time to breathe in those moments, in those 7 seconds. We've been phenomenal at that this season, and that's where we created the first goal, which Gabriel Jesus puts away. And his whole performance throughout the 60 minutes, and he was disappointed to come off in the 60th minute, but you can see why Arteta is doing so. Just come back from an injury, his first start in the Premier League, gave us 60 minutes and was outstanding. My man of the match, not just for the goals, and we've not even got into the second goal yet, but looking at how he just relieves pressure in moments. There was one specific moment where the ball was in our left back position. Leeds were attacking, Arsenal defended well, and the ball gets cleared up into the air. I think it was from Gabriel, and Jesus literally kills it dead whilst backing into the defender on the line, on the touch line where it's about to go for a throw-in, kills it dead on his thigh, relieves the pressure, and Arsenal move forward. And there was a few moments like that where Gabriel Martinelli got his shot off from the halfway line, which Luke Ayling nearly fumbled and put it into the back of his own net, but did enough just in the end, where he just alleviates us and springs so many counter-attacks. And it's such a pleasure to watch him play football, even when he doesn't score. He's a big chance miss machine. He misses so many of them, but he gets into those positions and he's relentless. And he's such a player that, you know, excuse me, one moment, I can feel some. Sorry, but for me, how he just takes it by the scruff of the neck. He's not a system player which just thrives in any system. He's given freedom and license to go and do what he wants. And it's a bit like Zinchenko, you know, coming from the Manchester City way, which they are a little bit more rigid in how they hold their position, but they still have that they come to the Arsenal team and they've got that freedom, the responsibility to take over, and they're playing week in, week out and thriving. Gabriel Jesus, what a player. I can't wait. Can't wait to see him in these big games. We'll talk tomorrow in depth about us traveling to Anfield. We'll hear the panel's thoughts as well going into it. But just for today, yesterday's game, man of the match for me. And that is with Bukayo Saka missing. Well, not missing, but he was on the bench because due to being unwell. He missed training the day before. Arteta said before the game. It's been a bit of an illness, but going around in England at the moment. And if you aren't an Arsenal fan, I saw, for example, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he wasn't fit. He was ill today, and Fred's been suffering with one. And I remember Moss let on the snow about Leeds with Weston McKennie struggling with the illness during the week when he was on duty for the United States national team. So Arsenal had a real test, and Trossard, he struggled in that first half, I will admit, but in the second, alongside Odegaard and Zinchenko, just were amazing, fluid, and off that Arsenal's third goal and Trossard's assist. What a signing! Can you remember when we missed out on Mykhailo Mudryk? I wasn't very happy. I was disappointed that we missed out on that man who missed a sitter yesterday, a couple of them, who is not taken like a duck to water in this league, whereas that is the complete opposite, for Leandro Trossard, who has come into this side and made such a difference. Coming into the central areas, so versatile. It looks like he's played in this Arteta team for years. How he's just come in. What a signing. And he came in January. And guys, he's been one of the signings of the season for Arsenal and in the Premier League, in fact. And he's only been here for a matter of months. When he came into that central position for Eddie Nketiah, who was struggling with an injury, as we know now, and we lost a little bit of that fluidity. We lost effectiveness from the left-hand side. We went through a sticky patch with Martinelli and Xhaka, not quite performing at their best. But he came in and he's been a revelation. And we didn't need to start Gabriel Jesus. And it's the question going into next week, who do we start in our attack? at Anfield, because you'd probably say Trossard drops to the bench, but with his record at Anfield and his performances, does he deserve to? He doesn't. He doesn't deserve to, but it's a real problem, and it's a good problem for Arteta to face. And we'll get into it. And guys, let me know your early thoughts. I expect it to change as we get into the week, and it will be from me as well. And I'm sure Arteta's mind will be changing as we're speaking, probably going into that game at Anfield. Who does he start? Because Trossard's made a case ever since he's come in. What a player. And I'm hearing a lot of likeness to Alexander Hleb, Santi Cazorla, a mixture of both in his tight control, in his control, in tight areas, how he can shift it to on both feet like a Santi Cazorla. And he makes the right decisions, and the timing is extravagant. It's beautiful. Wrong adjective, but it's amazing to see, and how he's made such an impact in a short space of time. One of our best signings that we've made this season. Is he our best January signing? I know Aubameyang was signed in January. He was massive for the club in that time. But if we win a Premier League, if we do enough and we get this title at the end of the season, Trossard, no matter what, even if he doesn't, he's up there to be one of the best. But if we do, wow, we'll have to, it's a real, what a coup. And thank you. And this is why everything happens for a reason. We didn't pay the money that we didn't think that Mudryk was worthy of. Chelsea missed out. There was calls of Edu out at the time, which sounds crazy. Not from me. I was one of those who were disappointed not to sign Mudryk. But how can you question Edu and Arsenal's recruitment after what we've seen already? Lisandro Martinez was our first choice. Man United got him. He wanted to go to Manchester United because Erik ten Hag was there and it was someone who was familiar to work with. So Arsenal, you go there. And Arsenal, there was a mixture. Arsenal didn't want to pay the fee that Ajax were demanding. So Arsenal went, right, we'll turn our attentions to Alexander Zinchenko. The man who was our man of the match yesterday, in my opinion, in Gabriel Jesus, wasn't initially our priority. Arsenal, 6 or so months before, wanted a Dusan Vlahovic, who didn't want to come to Arsenal. He wanted Juventus. Arsenal put the money on the table, tried to get in contact with the agents, didn't get him. So we pivoted and we looked at Gabriel Jesus and pursued that from March. From then, we took advantage. That's the difference with Arsenal's recruitment now. It's proactive, not reactive. And we do have a mixture of both, but we are mainly proactive. If we react and the player doesn't want to come for whatever reason, or the Arsenal don't feel, well, it's right to pay the fee, we are proactive enough to have other targets on the list that we're looking at. And Leandro Trossard was that target. Our second choices could be the reason why we win this Premier League. Wow. Absolutely wonderful signing from Trossard. He's also a contender for man of the match, but not for me because that first half was a bit ineffective. But the person who he was initially brought in to compete with was Gabriel Martinelli. We need to have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen, about Gabriel Martinelli. We need to. Saka gets all the praise and a lot of it because he deserves it. I will say that. And this is, I mean, I got the boy's name on the back of this shirt. Sorry, can you see that? Yeah, you just about saw it. But Bukayo Saka is a generational talent and someone that since he came to this Arsenal team has shown the raw ability, the understanding, the maturity to take on the burden that we were in that moment in time at Arsenal Football Club. And it's kind of unfair on Martinelli, how we look at him. And we see both of them at the age of 21. But Bukayo Saka is one of the best players in the world, not to under 21s, etc. How he's performing, the level he's at. And you saw it for the fourth goal, by the way. Four Leeds players attracted to him, looking at him because they know he's the danger man. By the way, yes, he's special. And this is him in second gear. But Gabriel Martinelli, this is the moment we need to talk about him. Goals, assists, constant threat, the ability to drive, he's pressing, going backwards the other way, he's tracking, and that was the issue initially with Arteta that he wanted to work on in his game. Is making sure that he can go back and still also so that he can get through the gears and manage moments and not be playing at 100%. He is out of this world. And for his age, I am extremely excited to see where this guy can go. In terms of ability, what he can do in scoring goals, he can score them in all types of ways. Left foot, his weaker foot, and heading ability is out of this world. And now he's adding assists and lifting his head up, finding his man. That assist for Benjamin White to put that through the eye of the needle, that ball to that back post, brilliant run from Benjamin White. But Gabriel Martinelli is a problem. And we know how he performs against Trent Alexander-Arnold, when they're spacing behind, if you allow that. And he's had big performances at Anfield before. Remember the 5-5? Do you remember that? He in with the number 35 Martinelli on his back in his first season. Yeah. What a baller. Man, I'm really enjoying watching Arsenal this season. And Gabriel Martinelli, even when he went through his sticky patch and where he was struggling, and I thought, when we missed Gabriel Jesus, when Eddie Nketiah was starting to gas out a little bit, and Eddie, we love him to bits, but his technical limitations, not connecting with the wide players or really working well when he goes into those wide areas, kind of hindered Martinelli a little bit. But Martinelli, since has just taken it to the next level, and he scores goals when he doesn't perform well. And this is someone that we praise and an ability that we praise Marcus Rashford for. Marcus Rashford for Man United. Even when he played against us, he was awful in that game. He was a threat though, a constant threat. But if you're looking at it from a point from where is he affecting the game? No, not where he wasn't affecting the game, and Martinelli had that period where he wasn't affecting the game as much, but he would always pop up and he'd always be a constant threat to score a goal, even when he doesn't play the full 90 minutes. And that's where Gabriel Martinelli has really taken up a level this season. He can affect games. He's in the danger area. He even inside, outside the box, driving, causing defenders nightmares, fullbacks, getting double teamed in those positions. And this is what Arsenal have on both wings. And we are blessed to have Martinelli and Saka. And this is something that Arsenal fans sensed very early on through when Arteta first came in, when Saka was playing at left back, Martinelli was just ahead of him. The connection we saw in the FA Cup game at Bournemouth was just the start. And we are really just at the start now of our brilliant wingers that we have there, our number 7 and our number 11 at the ages of 21. The level that they're at, it's ridiculous. And where you're looking at where they could go, Salah and Mane, those were the two at Liverpool who took them to the next level, above and beyond, scoring 15, 20 plus goals a season, both of them. If we can get that output from both Saka and Martinelli, we're talking world-class ability, because what they're doing in terms of having their impact on games is out of this world. It is next level, and I'm really proud and happy to see them. So I've spoken about Martinelli, I've spoken about the two Gabriel, I've spoken about Leandro Trossard, but Wilf, I saved your comment here because your man of the match, as he says here, is Aaron Ramsdale. Has to be for me. Outstanding when things were tight and kept our lead to avoid getting any hope. Even almost saved the goal off a deflection from my man, aka Zinchenko. Aaron Ramsdale. We talked about how Gabriel Martinelli is underappreciated, not by Arsenal fans, but by neutrals, I'd say. And I think the same goes for Aaron Ramsdale, who in these games, which we have won in our 7 consecutive wins in the Premier League, he's had moments of absolute brilliance where he's kept us in it and he's kept our lead or he's kept us level. I think back to the Aston Villa game. I think back to the Bournemouth game and yesterday as well, when we were 1-0 up or where we was 0-0. Aaron Ramsdale's making big saves. There were saves that you expect your keeper to make, but the concentration levels from him is brilliant. And where he's positioning to be there makes it look easy. And that's what I've always challenged Aaron Ramsdale. And whenever I spoke to non-Arsenal fans, this is what I've said. For a Ramsdale to take it to that next level, to be a world-class goalkeeper, he needs to be making the easy-looking saves. Alisson is the best at that, where he, you know, when you're seeing strikers come up against Alisson, he has an aura, right? And strikers tend to miss chances that you think they should score. Alisson won't even make a save half the time, but how he positions himself makes it as difficult as possible. That was the next step for Aaron Ramsdale, and that's what I'm starting to see. He's making it difficult in those moments. And if he can continue to do that and continue to build and continue to grow as he gains experience, and how Arsenal play. And we do allow teams to have chances, hence why we've only kept 3 clean sheets in 20 games. Not 20, but yeah, 3 clean sheets out of our however many games, how many clean sheets we kept this season. Only 3 of them have been kept at home. Says a lot. It does say a lot in terms of that. So, yeah, Aaron Ramsdale, magnificent in those moments. And we know his distribution. We know how important that is. And that's going to be massive in these upcoming games where teams will press us a bit more. We're going to go to difficult grounds. He is going to be tested more because opposition teams will get more chances just because of the higher quality of these teams. He's going to have big moments here. And he will be proving his worth in these moments. So we can't wait to see. And yeah, big up each and every one of you that's locked in the chat right now. I see loads of them coming in. We will get through to your comments as well. Just anything else that I wanted to point out? The goals. I spoke a little bit about Saka and what he did in pulling 4 Leeds players apart away and drawing the attention away or towards himself, away from Martin Odegaard, where he laid it off to him. And that ball from Martin Odegaard, thing of beauty to Granit Xhaka, who put that in the back of the net. And Ed said that Xhaka was his man of the match because he's always right about it. Xhaka now with 10 goals and assists in the Premier League. What a player. And he's really had a remontada, as they say. And what a remontada means is a comeback, and how he's made that comeback for Arsenal. It just shows the mentality of the guy to develop, to improve and become this left 8, which we keep speaking about, and to add so many elements to his game and really show his quality as the Arsenal's team has risen in terms of its levels and quality, its discipline, and everything in every aspect. He's been phenomenal this season, and he once again, like Ramsdale, like everyone else, is going to have a big part to play in these tough games we've got coming up. Trips to Anfield next. We've got trips to St. James's Park. We got a trip to the Etihad. We've got a trip to, still to go to London Stadium, where West Ham are going to be fighting for their lives, but I still expect Arsenal to go and win there. Like I do in all the games now. And I've got a high expectation and confidence and belief in us getting that because of this team. And a final word before we get into the comments and hear your thoughts. I just want to big up Mikel Arteta as well. In so many of these games where we have struggled in periods, not being at our brilliant. When I say struggled, not creating many chances, because we didn't in the first 45 against Leeds. We didn't create many. There was a few. Jesus had that header before he won the penalty. He makes slight tweaks into his tactics that aren't easy to see on the eye, and you can only notice when you watch them back. And I will raise them for tomorrow's Arsenal show. but the ability, the awareness to do so, and even just from a motivational standpoint, and just to get players alert and ready to go and ready to fight and ready to be in battle and know what that's on the line and take the pressure off them. Because and these players know what's on the line. I'm sure they've got the desire, but it could easily be a bit of angst, a little bit of nerves creeping in, especially at their tender ages that they are. A lot of these players, but he trusts them and he gives them that belief from the sidelines and he gets them drilled, so well drilled that if things aren't going their way at that period, that's okay. We'll still stick it and go ahead and keep pressing and keep going on. And the second half was much better. And you got to look at Arteta as well as the players who have such intelligence to understand where to be, the fluidity. There was a clip, there was not even a clip, it was a picture that was going out on Twitter where Trossard was in the centre forward position. Ben White, he was in the right back position. You had Xhaka in that left wing position. You had Thomas Partey in like a deep line centre back position. You had Odegaard in the right centre mid position, like he starts in, but Zinchenko in a centre mid position as well. And they know exactly where to go when one player makes that run. I know where, player A makes that run, player B must react, and player C must know what position to cover or what position to take, and how they sense space, and the timings are excellent. And this is why Arsenal are going to be sustainable for the future, by the way. This is no fluke season. There's not small margins for error in a lot of places. Especially when you're at the quality, it's not like the intensity that we see Liverpool play at, which was relentless. And it was like, it was breathtaking watching that Liverpool in the 18-19 season. And that's probably one of the best Premier League teams that we've seen. They were unbeaten for a lot of that season up until they went to Watford and lost, and then that COVID break happened. But Arsenal measure and control a lot of these games, and that's amazing to see, man. And at such a young age, without being in this position before, and to keep their nerve up until this point is amazing. And I'm still in awe watching every single game, and I can't wait to be watching the others of this Mikel Arteta Arsenal side. But let's get into your comments now, because there's so much, and there's a lot breaking. There's a lot of breaking news, which you may have heard me fumble at the start. So I'm going to scroll all the way up, and we have to talk about this breaking news, of course, because it concerns one of our rivals, and it is Graham Potter has been sacked from Chelsea. Packs and breaks here. Breaking news: Graham Potter has been sacked by Chelsea. Chelsea would like to thank Graham for his efforts and contribution and wish him well for the future. Club statement announces. Wow. My initial thoughts, this is a match reaction for the Arsenal Leeds game, but my initial reaction to this: Chelsea. What are you doing? Yes, he's struggled. Yes, he's made a lot of mistakes at this moment in time, up to this point in time. And yes, he should be doing a lot better with a squad of players that he's got. And I was even saying, when we came back for the second half of the season, after the window shut, I expect Chelsea to be knocking on the door for European places, but they just lost to Aston Villa at home. And they are underachieving. It's as simple as that. But you can't. I'm sorry. You don't spend this amount of money on a manager like Graham Potter, a novice at this level, someone who is yet to have the experience of managing this level with this over-bloated squad that is going through a transition where you're changing the style of football completely and trying to add a philosophy within the club. And you're not even willing to give the man a pre-season. Remember when Arteta was going through this? Oh, let's not forget. And I'm not saying that Potter is on the level of Arteta, and Arteta, it shouldn't be someone that you just look at if you're a non-Arsenal fan looking at the outside and saying, oh, it worked at Arsenal, so it should work at us. No, but to not even give the man a pre-season. And this is someone that you trusted, that you've sacked Thomas Tuchel for, a top manager who is proven at the top level, who I'm not his biggest fan, but someone who won a Champions League at Chelsea, got them competing in almost every cup competition and domestic competition, yeah, and even got them competing last season through tough times and through not great moments at Chelsea, and managed them through that, through the takeover. And you're giving this squad of players another chance. And you're going to bring in another manager now who's going to be having a fresh approach, fresh eyes, and let me give this X player a chance. Let me give Y player a chance who were out the door. You're not even going to do that. It's not a great, there will be someone that will come in there that will look at it and think that I can do this. But is Chelsea they've not changed, have they? They have not changed. They've changed in the fact that they're not this successful side anymore that are going to be competing at the Premier League, because they've not done that this season, and they've not competed for the Premier League since Antonio Conte was there. And Conte's had about 4 or 5 jobs now. He's had about 3 jobs since then, since they last competed for a league. Yeah, not great. I don't like this decision. Yesterday, although they lost, I thought that Chelsea performed better. And it was one of the better Chelsea performances. King of XG, Graham Potter was at Brighton. And Chelsea had a few chances. So it's not Graham Potter's fault Mykhailo Mudryk can't put the ball in the back of the net. And it's that, not him, but the owners decided to overspend on him. It's not Graham Potter's fault that players just can't put the ball in the back of the net. He sets them up to create these chances. It's not Graham Potter's fault that Mark Cucurella, who was brought in before Potter was there, decides to make a stupid, try to head it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga and messes it up completely for Ollie Watkins to take the lead. That's not Graham Potter's fault. But hey, Chelsea, I know where I stand. You know how I love Graham Potter, yeah, and I think that he would have done a good job given time. But the worry is Chelsea gonna give him time? And the way they've spoken about him, the way they've backed him, the way they've said this and that, I'm sorry, you can't. It's not great. It's poor from me, poor from Chelsea, and they've lost a lot. I mean, Chelsea never really had my respect anyway, just because how they operate as a club and how they have in my whole life of watching football. But any respect that they did have from hiring Graham Potter, they've lost it all now. And I hope that they crash and burn, to be honest, with Chelsea. But I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I don't think it's right. He needed time. He needed time to get his own players in, to build a philosophy. You can't expect, Rome wasn't built in a day. Just because you spend 600 million or whatever on a manager doesn't mean that it has to get instant results. Yes, it's a results-based business. Chelsea weren't ever, they're not going to be finishing in the top 4 place. We can guarantee them of that. But I think you could have said that a long time ago. No matter who you bring in, Havertz isn't going to start putting the ball in the back of the net. How many opportunities has he been given? It's his 3rd manager now. Kai Havertz, someone like him at Chelsea. A manager's not putting the ball in the back of the net. Yes, what I don't even see what he's going to do. I don't think it wasn't the players weren't playing for Potter. I don't think that's not what was evident to me yesterday watching that game. When I'm seeing Reece James break down, come straight back in and break down again, doesn't look like that Reece James isn't playing for Potter. But because, players like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang aren't happy, you have to get rid of him. And because Chelsea's dressing room once again has sacked a manager, not on the level of a Jose Mourinho or a Conte or whatnot. But yeah, Chelsea's dressing room rule. Your dressing room, Chelsea's dressing room rules that club. That's what they do. And Todd Burley, splashing all that cash. He has no idea, does he? Absolutely no idea what he's doing. To give part of that amount of money, to pay that release clause, and to pay that what Brighton, to get what they ever did to get him out of Brighton. It's stupid. It's stupid to me. When Arteta was going through it, when there were so many people that were calling for his head at so many points, and the one point in particular where Arsenal lost to Spurs, I remember that, before we played Chelsea, before we got Frank Lampard sacked, basically, the beginning and the end for him there. Arteta the club trusted him. The club had a plan. Even when the fans are being all reactive and reactionary and emotions are spilling over, the club had a plan and they knew what they were going to do with this manager. We're going to see it out until this plan. Doesn't mean that it's going to work out, people. Just because Arsenal had a plan with Arteta doesn't mean that it was always going to work out given time. The club know that. The club know it's a risk. Every time you appoint a manager and you stick by a manager or you sack a manager, there's a risk. But especially when you bring in one for the amount of money that they have, what is that? What are you showing the players now at Chelsea? I don't think this is showing them that, I better get behind this manager. I better fix myself up. Otherwise, I'm out the door. Nah, if I don't fix myself up, I don't really like how this manager's operating at the moment. Yeah, why am I playing in this position? Nah, forget this. Yeah, he'll be gone anyway. We're not getting the results. Yeah, he'll be gone. It's not me. He'll be gone. That's what happens at Chelsea. They might get a new manager bounce. I don't think they're making it past Real Madrid. Even if they do, it's just crazy. There's not. How are you going to build a sustainable team if you can't even back them for a process? Erik ten Hag is going to go through a sticky patch at some. He's going through one now, but he'll go for a point where people will start to question: is he the right man? Is he this? Is he that? Some fans will stick with him. Some fans won't. I don't know how many. Don't know the percentage, but it will happen. It tends to happen through these big successful clubs. Let's not forget Jurgen Klopp. Right? Jurgen Klopp, who was outstanding before going to Liverpool, he was questioned. Is he going to win a trophy? He's being questioned now. Do you sack him at the first time? No, because if you trust them, if you have a plan and you really know what you're going to do, and Chelsea pulled out all the stops. They sacked a good manager in Thomas Tuchel to bring this man in, who I rate, by the way, but it's not someone that I knew was going to take them from finishing outside the top 4 to instant success within 2 seasons. Absolutely not. But what's the direction that Chelsea are going to go in now? Potter was a process manager. Who they're going to look at? Is it Julian Nagelsmann? He's going to go through a sticky one. He's not the perfect manager. He's not the easiest one to get along with. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. But that's my thoughts on Chelsea right now. Potter getting that payday. How much is it he's going to get? Yeah. What is it? He got a 6-year contract? Them death row contracts that Chelsea are going to pay? Madness. Madness indeed. Let's see what else we got on here on Chelsea. Paul Potter, he just got a nice trim as well from Knightsbridge. He went to the barber in Knightsbridge. Now he's gonna have to find somewhere different. And I do feel sorry for Graham Potter. And I feel sorry for him in a way. I feel sorry for him from a mental aspect. People are going to say, "Oh, I don't feel sorry for him. I'll get paid 60 million and get sacked." Yeah, of course, but you've just uprooted your family there, and the club are probably feeding you so much that, yeah, we trust in you. We'll see this process through. We'll make sure we get these players for you. We'll get rid of them, this, that. He would have wanted assurances. Didn't get them, and the promises were false in the end. And you got to be careful now, Chelsea, because they ain't got time. You've set a precedent now. How can you get another manager and back them if they have a sticky patch at any point? Yeah. Questions have to be asked about, are they going to get sacked? If the players don't look like they're playing for him, you can't say get rid of the players. No. The fans who have wanted Potter out. I hear you. You support your club. You're feeling it emotionally, but you got to realize that these things take time. There was clearly no plan. Now you have to question your owners. Question your owners. Now Potter's gone. Question: are they the ones? Are they the ones that you want? The grass weren't greener from a dodgy Roman, was it? We'll see now. Always did question Todd Burley, but yeah, now it has to be. Now those questions better ramp up. Early on, he doesn't have the trust that like Roman did, but he brought all your trust, and even he was making wrong decisions a lot of times. But yeah, let's see. Potter to Spurs. He rejected Spurs, apparently, according to the rumours. No, I don't want Potter to Spurs. Not because, Arsenal, once again, I like Potter. I don't want him to go there and go there and do anything of note. But I don't think, once again, he's going to be getting trusted there in terms of time, in terms of signings. If you can't get all the players that he wants, make sure you give this manager time and a period where, you know, I need you to do this in this period. I want you to make these changes, make these things to bring our club back or to bring us to that next level, so you can implement it, even if it don't work out with you, so that a next manager can come in and take it on from there, someone who can be better, etc. But it doesn't look like Chelsea are going through that way. They're going through the director of football model where they hiring head coaches. But then if you got a head coach and you're not signing players for him, then it's not always going to be, you know, you're not always going to have players that are going to fit this philosophy that the head coach wants to play, or how the style that this head coach does want to play. Unless if you're going to hire a manager now, where if you're going to have a philosophy built within the club where it's just based on that, it's going to have to be a bulletproof one, like a Barcelona. But look what happened with Barcelona. Do Chelsea ever want to be in that position right now? I don't think so. Yeah. Potter to Spurs? No, not for me. No, not for me, because it's just another poison chalice. Worse than Chelsea, in all honesty. Because, yeah, at least with Chelsea, you'll get money. You won't get money at Spurs. You won't even get time. They didn't give Mauricio Pochettino time after his first sticky spell. So, yeah. Nah, just get out of London. Potter, just get out of London. If there was a next job in the Premier League, what would you be looking at if he was Graham Potter? Go back to a club similar to Brighton, who will give you that and will trust you and have a good recruitment strategy. Hard to say, really. Like Brentford, if Thomas Frank decides to go, yeah, maybe if he wants to stay in London, stay in West London, Brentford. But I don't think, yeah, maybe a Brentford, but I can't see him going there. Yeah, it's difficult to say. Give me your shouts, guys. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Potter ain't winning anything at Spurs. Let me go. I'm going to scroll down through the comments. He ain't winning jack at Spurs. Exactly that. Spurs don't win anything. It'll be fine. Yeah, they're pinning after Poch, who won jack there. Apparently not. That keeps changing. Apparently they don't want Mauricio Pochettino. Just a little bit more, and then we'll move back to the Arsenal talk as well. Tottenham is a club where good managers go to die. It's an elephant's graveyard. Exactly. Big up each and every one of you that are locked in as well. Big up my brother Bobby K in the building. And then we'll get back to the Arsenal talk soon. Wow, Tereak's part have been sacked. Burley finished Ted Lasso series and figures he can do the managing. Yeah, he did. He must have. Does anyone want to work for an owner that is that hands-on like that? I wouldn't want to. This is why Thomas Tuchel didn't see eye to eye with him. He wanted more responsibility, Moss. It's a great point. He seems like he is. What I've been watching Ted Lasso, you want to be entrusted. You want to be given keys and backing and respect. And that's how you're going to be your best self and how you're going to manage these players to the best of your ability. Potter's still a very good manager, and I think he will have a very good career after this. Chelsea have sacked many a manager who have been very successful after as well, and was successful before and went on to be successful afterwards. So, yeah, Chelsea, graveyard for number 9s and managers. But no, they're not that graveyard where they're completely finished. They just always have a horrible time. Bit like Spurs, in a way. Even when they're Spurs with trophies, though. That's what Chelsea are. They have the trophies, but not the sustainability. And it always ends bad. Always. Wes Bird says Potter should have stayed at Brighton, but I think that they're even better under Roberto De Zerbi. Absolutely, yeah. But that's a credit to Brighton. The fact that they can get rid of him, they can afford to lose Graham Potter and it not all go to pot there. And they know they have a succession plan after if this happens, and they know when they sell a player, who our next player is to bring in. We get the right money for him. Potter, he should have stayed at Brighton. If you're looking at it from a completely football point of view, in terms of how he's got how the clubs are run, which one's the best environment, which one's the better environment right now? Easily Brighton over Chelsea, where there's still a lot of instability, and unknown. uncertainty. That's what I was meant to say, not instability. But yeah, but then you're looking, but he can't say no to that much amount of money and to up manage an opportunity like Chelsea. He's not been in those positions before to say no, in a way. And I understand why he took it, but it weren't the right decision. Doesn't mean it was the right decision. It definitely wasn't. And it's proven to now. But yeah, should have stayed. He had something good going there, and he could have even elevated his. I think he deserves his profiting off a lot of Potter's good work there as well. He's made the little tweaks. He's made his. He's got his imprint very early, and you can do that when you've got a philosophy. Let's say now things don't work out with Arteta at the end of it. I'm fully confident now of how the club is positioned that we can get an ex-manager and they can succeed straight away. They can, because of the position that Arsenal are in right now. If we get the right man and do the right, recruitment for our next manager, because Arteta's not going to be here forever. If he doesn't go and end up like Wenger, where it just completely fell apart, where it just rotted a little bit the club and we lost our way and we lost our philosophy a little bit, which we did since we moved to the Emirates, and that took a long period of time. We've got something in place now. If Arteta was to leave tomorrow, we could get it doesn't need time. Not any manager doesn't need time. If we get the right one, he can do wonders. And that's the same at Manchester City. Now, Pep Guardiola leaves, then yes, they're not going to get someone at his level or his ability, but they can bring in a next manager who's relatively unknown, but can take the keys and run with it, because they've got a philosophy built in place. As long as the manager that they bring in has a similar vision, similar direction with his own nuances and things that he wants to change tactically, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And that's what I would say with Brighton. Even if Zerbi goes, the next manager that they bring in is important, but they can be fine and they can even improve further as well. But yeah, that's what happens when you're a well-run football club. Look at Brentford. Thomas Frank wasn't always there. He hasn't always been. He was the one that took them to that next level. How Brentford are ran pound for pound, what the best in England. I'm saying the best pound for pound club. How they're run in England in terms of how they operate, and yeah, they don't even have an academy. Do you know what I mean? So craziness. But yeah, brilliant from Brighton. Let's have a look as well. Burley and Igbali, on behalf of everyone at the club, we want to thank Graham. Yeah, whatever. We have the highest degree of respect for Graham. Absolutely not. That's complete lies. As a coach and as a person. Yeah, whatever. About respect. Give the man time then if you respect him. He's always conducting himself with professionalism and integrity. Of course he has. Of course he has. When you man have been signing players over behind him and then putting him under all sorts of pressure by slapping 105 million on Enzo Fernandez, who's a fantastic player, but you're ridiculously overpaying and giving him a boost and a massive ego and stuff. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Big up my brother Brad in here as well. It's been a while, my bro, but I hope you're keeping good. I hopped onto here as soon as I heard the Potter news. This is such a good day. Big up Ito Mohammed in here as well. Hope you're keeping good. Moss says Chelsea and Tereak with Potter water. He had a lot of faves on Fraud Watch last night. Hey, Potter's not a fraud for me though, man. Potter's serious. We said it once again. Conte, Mourinho, Ancelotti, so many managers have left there and have been good managers, so it doesn't really mean too much for me there. His stock shouldn't fall really too low. Don't think a club around Chelsea's level are going to hire him next. He can just rebuild it again at a decent club. He can make the right decision. He's got the coaching ability. He's got the management to do it as well. Let me see. I'm scrolling all the way down so I can get to your most recent comments as well, because there's so many that we need to get through. Can we just shout out Brighton selling some of their best layers and losing their manager, being in contention for the UCL next season? Wow. Yeah. If it weren't for us, they would be the team of the season in terms of their best performing and really taking it and getting every bit of juice from their squeeze. But yeah, up there, definitely one of the managers of the season is De Zerbi in the position that he's taken it. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and in hindsight is a marvelous thing. Kirbishley did it at Charlton, and he disappeared into obscurity. Yeah, it's true, absolutely. Yeah, and Will says really good point. Indeed, G. Potter was rightfully so ambitious and wanted to test himself, just picked the wrong club. Yeah, it's sad. But the options he had, Wilf, was Spurs or Chelsea. They were both horrible choices, in all fairness. But nah, yeah, it's a good point as well, Wilf, and I agree. He did. It's just unfortunate that that club came in for him. If he had other options at the time, he'd be great. Hey, I'm saying it now. Yeah, I'm saying it now. Right. I've seen enough, right, from Potter. If it didn't work out, I'm not. I know, looking way ahead. Yeah, things will change from then. But if you was to say in 3 years' time, yeah, Arteta goes to Barcelona, and everything's great. We've done this, done that. Would you take Potter? I'm saying now, today, yeah, I would. I don't care getting sacked from Chelsea. Don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. I've seen how that club operates. You had Tuchel. He was exactly what you needed, Chelsea fan. Exactly, Bargav. Exactly. They don't know what they want. The owners don't know. The fans don't know. You want sustainability. You want to see the best football played at the bridge. You want to see trophies. Guess what? Something's going to have to give. Yeah, at a time. You can't have it all. You can't have it all. They want to be the most pragmatic. If you just want pure trophies, go hire your pragmatic managers again. And it all falls apart when it's not work, when teams find out how to break it down. Okay, that's what you want. If you want a Pep Guardiola, yeah, Pep Guardiola is a generational manager, right? And even he took time, even things like that took time in terms of his philosophy. And he took over a much better team at Manchester City, who had won league titles and who would just come off the back of that. And even he was getting slapped 4-0, he was getting slapped by fours against Everton and Leicester. Pep Guardiola, because there's a teething period. And he had a whole season. He had a pre-season. Come on. Nah, man. Chelsea are stupid. They're such a stupid football club. I can't wait until we play them. It's made me angry. I'm not even a Chelsea fan. Arsenal shown you need to make a plan. Choose a manager, stick for it for a decent amount of time, and to see how it works and ride out the harder times. Absolutely. I'm going to have to change the title and thumbnail of this video. I'm still going to keep the Arsenal 4-1 against Leeds, but then I'm also going to put a reaction to Potter getting sacked in there as well. We're definitely going to do that. So yeah, but people, we will go through plenty more in tomorrow night's video. We'll have to hear the guys' thoughts, the panel's thoughts on this Graham Potter sacking. I'll mull over it a little bit more to see and do my little research into it. I thought Chelsea were actually better than Aston Villa yesterday, but Aston Villa just took their chances in a way. So hey, but anyways, Arsenal, we're still remaining at the top. I can't wait to talk to you about this tomorrow. Hear the guys' thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts in the chat as well. We'll keep it going. I'm sorry we got kind of distracted tonight and not spoke about Arsenal as much as I intended to. But we did. We still spoke about it from a good 30 plus minutes. But guys, really do appreciate you all. Smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. We will be back tomorrow evening with the Arsenal show. Stay locked in at these times as well. I'm going to get everything sorted now. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, day, night, or Monday morning. It might be in some places as well. Take care, people. We are out. Peace.